Listen, we are here. It's Tuesday night, baby. We are excited to tell you about the Relationship Exchange SMD. I'm here with my girl, Esther Marie. We are about to get our relationship discussion on. I'm telling y'all, every time we come together, it has been absolutely amazing because we have some good people out here who need some advice on how to maneuver their relationships, whether they're single, whether they're married, or they're divorced, or if you're just in an entanglement or a situationship, whatever it looks like. We are here to answer the questions. We're here to get your confessions. We're here to put our 2 cents in, whether you decide to take it or not. And hopefully we got some guests, some other people who are watching with us that will, share what their thoughts are as well. So, Marie, how are you tonight?
You know what? I cannot lie. I am tired tonight, late night working, but guess what? We are here, and that music just had me vibing. So I'm ready for tonight. I'm ready to get into some good conversation, provide some words of wisdom, and hopefully help someone else with anything else that they're going through or give them some insight on how they can handle it. So I'm ready.
That's what I'm talking about. Give them the insight so they can handle it. What I love about Marie is that, baby, she comes through, honey, professional and all. And we just say Marie, but honey, please believe it's the doctor in front of that. So she doesn't really say it a lot, but listen, Dr. Marie is the one who gives you this good advice. And so hopefully, and this little piece of hair right here is about to get on my nerves, but I'm gonna keep on moving. But she gives y'all the great advice. I'm telling y'all from a real perspective. So don't sleep on her because she has the credentials to give you what she's giving you. So I love that. She's so detailed and she gets down into it and really lets you know from a professional perspective on how to deal with relationships and be the best version of yourself in your relationship, and I just be the sidekick to come on in and be like, yeah, but you know what? Do this, and this. Don't do that, please. So hopefully you get a good mix and you enjoy what we bring. We are in season 1, and this is a remix because we had another show previously, and it was wife talk. And so what we decided to do is, instead of just talking about married relationships, we wanted to open it up because we had some single sisters and brothers. We had some people who, were in other arrangements. And so we just want to open it up so everybody can talk about the relationships. And trust and believe, it's not just intimate relationships. It can be family relationships. It can be business partnerships, friendships, whatever you want to talk about. Because listen, a relationship is a relationship. It's anything between two people. So you want to be able to put it out there. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, we want to be here to help you navigate through that thing and hopefully make it better than what it currently is right now. So yes, that part.
And look at you passing gems. Listen, y'all, don't let this queen over here sleep on y'all. She is a mogul in her own world. She dibble and dabble in a little bit of everything, know a little bit about a lot of things, almost everything. So she over here, shout outs.
Just a little bit.
A lot of it or a little bit?
Little bit. Every now and then I might have a lot to give you, but at the same time, we are really just giving you from life experience. Marie has the credentials. I've been through life and talking to other people. We have some things that we can share because, again, we've all relationships. That's what it's all about. Once you come out the womb, baby, and get to a position where you can move on your own, even when you can and you're still a baby, you're still relating in some kind of way. So life is about relationships. And the better you are at it, the better that you can navigate through it, the better your communication skills are, the better life is. Because, we come into the world, but we have to connect with other people. That's what life is all about. And so make your connections great. I love when Tabitha Brown says, just because you having a jacked up day, don't you dare go mess up somebody else's. And that's true. When you have something going on in your life and it's not great, they say hurt people. Absolutely. Why? Stop that. Stop hurting people because you hurt. Heal yourself. Don't let your
Absolutely.
first course of action be to go out here and hurt somebody else because somebody has crapped on you. No, heal yourself, forgive you and the person who did it to you, and then make a decision because life is about choices. Make a decision to live in a better environment than what somebody did to you. You don't have to tit for tat. No, rise above that thing, honey. We I love when Deion Sanders says we're better than that.
Absolutely.
We are better than that. So when you got something going on with you and it's not how you want to feel, then make the decision that either I'm going to do what I need to do, whether it's meditation, journaling, all of those things, or if it's actually going to seek some counseling to help you become better. But don't mess somebody else up because you've been messed up. That's not the right way. We got to be better than that, honey. We're going into 2025. We got to do better.
I love that. That is so true. I tell people you only have 24 hours a day. Now you're trying to sleep at least 7 to 8. Then you got
Right,
to work
right.
8. And if you have to go in, that's another 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on
Mm-hmm.
your drive. You don't have much time left. So you have to enjoy those moments where you can and never allow anyone to have that much power over you to alter your day. And if
Yeah,
you're giving somebody that much power, then you need to reevaluate and reset because no one should have
that's so
that much
true.
power to alter how you spend the rest of your hours. So you want to spend them happily and peacefully. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Happily and peacefully. Because at the end of the day, when you don't heal yourself, whomever has caused you some pain and trauma,
Mhm.
that person is holding the key to how you exist and move. And I refuse to allow somebody else to keep me in bondage and stressed out and depressed and overwhelmed. And I know it's easier said than done, don't get me wrong, but again it comes down to decision. Things have people have had a whole bunch of things that have happened to them,
Mhm.
and all of us have the same opportunity to choose one way or the other. You
Yeah.
see some people who have been homeless, and I mean, look at Tyler Perry, homeless, but
Yeah.
at the same time look at what he's doing now. But then you also see somebody else who's homeless and they choose to live under the bridge. Again, it is about a choice. Things happen to you, how you choose to respond to it. You either will continue to bleed on other people and
Mhm.
hurt other people because you're hurt, or you make a decision that, you know what, I'm not my circumstances. My
Ooh,
circumstances don't define me. It may be rough for a minute, but I don't have to stay here. I'm making a decision to go and be better, to do better, to have more. And if I have to ask for help, then that's what I'm going to do if it's going to allow me to get myself in a better position. Because where
mhm.
I was 5 years ago don't mean I have to stay in that same place the next 5 to 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. Make
Right.
a choice to have a better you so that as you come in contact with other people, they have better experiences.
Well, listen, y'all, who got the PhD? Wait a minute.
Girl, you rubbing off on me, Marie. You rubbing off.
Speaking volumes, but you know what? You are on something because tonight we have two confessions and
Mhm.
exchanges, excuse me. See, I'm going back to White Talk. You
I
said
know, right?
I'm thinking confessions, but we have two good ones, and it's really about how you allow things to change your perception,
Hmm.
your actions, and how you move forward in your future. So I love it that you kind of talked about how you're in control of how you react, how you move
Hmm.
forward, and the decisions that you make because we have two confessions tonight. Now, I didn't get a chance to do what I usually do, try and read over them and study them. It's been a busy day, but I'll tell you what, you hit on some points, they love, and I think we should go ahead and get started if you're okay.
Yes, go ahead and give it to the people. Give the people what they want.
I want to give it. So we're going to start with the first one. It
Okay.
said, my best friend and I fell out over a guy. She got drunk and slept with the guy I was dating. I miss my friend, but I'm mad at her. We haven't spoken in 2 months. What do I do? So again, that talks about you, what you just said, allowing people to really change, how you move. You can't allow situations become your circumstances. That's first and foremost. So to this, I love the fact that you acknowledge your feelings and you said, hey, I'm mad at my friend, I'm upset, right? That's great.
Mhm.
You know where you stand, but you haven't talked to her in 2 months. So you miss her, but you still haven't called. So think about that. Are you ready to call? What will you say? Will you speak peacefully? Or will you still, speak out of anger? So you definitely want to address yourself and your feelings first. So you need to reset to make sure, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I want to say. Do I want to mend this relationship or do I want to keep it separate? Because again, people make mistakes. You said here that she was drunk and she slept with this gentleman. Things happen. It's up to you to forgive that person for what she did, but also let's talk about the male. Did you forgive that individual as well? Are you still mad at that individual? It can't just be your friend. It takes two people to get into an entanglement, as
Mhm.
A Love says. So, you have to think about the whole situation and all parties involved. Um, and again, take time to reflect on the situation to see if how you want to heal from it. Healing is, hey, deciding, yes, I want my friend back, I can move past this and I won't hold her or this situation against her, right? Because a lot of times in our mind or maybe in our hearts, we want to forgive people, but there might be something that triggers you and say, I'm not ready to be friends with this chick again. So you have to make sure that you're not harboring over things that you've promised to forgive for. And I want to bring it up too that just because you forgive someone does not mean that you have to forget. You always want to have that in the back of your mind. Absolutely, Miss Tammy. She said, don't make a permanent decision in a temporary moment. Absolutely. That's why I say reset. You want to give yourself a mental and physical break from this person. You had that for 2 months. Now you want to start your healing process and figuring out what you want to do. If you feel that your friend is that valuable to your life, and it was a harmless mistake or whatever the situation may be that you feel, then you deal with your emotions first and then get some information from her. And that's when you start to communicate with that individual how you're feeling, because you want to make sure that it wasn't done out of malice. It was done, in the heat of a moment, but also you want to set boundaries. And this is something that A Love and I have talked about many of times. Boundaries are the key to any relationship. It doesn't matter if it's a friendship, kinship, dateship, marriageship, whatever type of relationship you're in. You want to make sure that you have set boundaries so people know how far to and not to go with you. When you don't accept or put boundaries out there, what happens is that people start crossing the line. And if you allow them to do that, guess what? They're going to continue to do that. And you can't blame anyone else but yourself. So make sure that you take care of yourself first, dealing with your emotions so you can properly handle what's to come, because you don't know what's going to come out of her mouth. You don't know what, she's feeling. You don't know how much she remembers, and you only said this is what happened and you said you miss her. So you didn't say we had an argument about it or I told her I knew, so that's kind of up in the air as well. But remember to take care of yourself. That's my advice to you. Um, and remember, even if you choose to speak with that individual or not, forgive for your own peace of mind. Um, Never allow people to rent space in your head. And I know people have heard this thing, but what I mean by that is the more you think about it, that's the more energy and life that you're giving it. Once you can forgive and move forward, that allows mental peace for you. I can't allow too much to have, rent and rent space, because I only got so much space up here. And guess what I'm trying to do? Be fruitful, be devoted to God, raise my family, be the woman that I know that I am, and I'm looking towards the future and I'm trying to leave a legacy. So allowing someone else to, just sit in my head, in my mental space, that's messing me up. I don't have time for that. So you want to make sure that you decide to forgive her, not just for her, but for yourself so you can move forward. And that brings me back to what you said earlier, Ayla. We really, 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 really have to work on ourselves and not allow these situations to succumb who we are, because you don't want that next friend to pay for what this friend did. So you have to forgive for that reason alone so you can continue to have great relationships with other people, because your one friend is not another friend. You know, there are certain boundaries that there's a girl code, just like there's a guy code, there's a girl code. Some people won't cross those boundaries, but again, we don't know all the circumstances. We just know that she was not in her right headspace or her normal headspace, and maybe this is her normal headspace. We don't know, but at the end of the day, forgiveness lies with you, so you can push forward and not let this alter how you move forward for your future.
Listen, absolutely amazing advice. And just going back to and Courtney and Tammy, thank you so much for tuning in. Going back to what Tammy said about making permanent decisions in temporary moments. You know, when something like that happens, let's just put it on the table. I don't know too many people who would become cool and collected about your good friend sleeping with your man.
Yes.
Or if it was a male, your good friend sleeping with your woman. I don't know too many people who would be okay with that. However, at the end of the day, you need to step back and you need to evaluate where you are in the situation. Because bottom line, that's a heavy thing to deal with, because you're hurt by two people who you trusted and had some level of feelings for, love, whatever. These are two people who you were close to. And so that's a betrayal of and disrespect of who you are. Now, with that being said, again, before you go out here and hurt somebody else, heal yourself. Meaning, before you go out here and put somebody in the hospital, put somebody in jail, get yourself in jail, waste a whole lot of more money trying to, get yourself out of a situation that maybe neither one of them were worth it.
Right.
But on the flip side, maybe both of them are worth it. You just have to know, number one, yourself well enough to know how can you or should you move forward with either relationship. Because again, trust and good morning, good evening, Chantel. The thing about that is trust can be broken very easily, but it's very, very, very hard to get back. And so you can tell by people's actions. And again, I'm saying actions because words are one thing, actions are another. And so if people are really genuine about saying that, hey, we were drunk, this happened. If I was in my right mind, none of that would have happened.
Right.
And maybe that's true, but you also have to look at, take a step back and don't, go in and destroy what you may want to bring back around later. Because sometimes we get in the habit of, letting other people get in and say, girl, if it was me, I couldn't. And you would just let other people hype you up to do some things that maybe you really weren't prepared to take all the way there. So again, spend some time with yourself and really think about, number one, your friend. What kind of friend was it? Is it a friend that you say you miss her? So is this somebody that you can forgive?
Right.
And if it is, that means that you got to forgive to the point of, we're not bringing this back up. I'm not going to later on down the line say to go back and throw this in your face.
Right.
That requires some work on your part to say that I've got to heal to the point of forgiving my friend and then putting this behind us so that we can move forward. If you decide to stay with this man, is it going to be somebody that you can rebuild this trust with? So spend some time with yourself and know exactly what it is you want. Be unapologetic about it, because if it means cutting them both off and moving on, don't apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we get revelations about things that it may hurt you right now, but it's for your best. So you have to determine which way that is, because you may think that, oh my God, that's the ultimate betrayal right now. But what if you and this man got married and then him and her got together and then she has a kid and now all of y'all are in a triangle? So, sometimes some things are blessings in disguise, and it may be very painful right now, but ultimately it could be something that happened for your good. Even though it hurts, even though, you're devastated, it could be for your own good. So seek somebody to talk to who is wise enough to not boost you up to go out here and be all, crazy. Because bottom line, you got to be true to you. You owe you first and foremost. You don't owe either one of them anything outside of forgive them so that you can move forward, not them, so that you can be okay. And again, be unapologetic about whatever your decision is. If it's a cutoff, then it's a cutoff. And they have to respect your boundaries, because at the end of the day, they're still responsible for their actions.
Absolutely.
Unintentional or intentional, they're still responsible for the actions that happen. And so it's unfortunate if it was, something that the person is like, I really hate. And I'm looking at Tammy and Chantel. I don't know if y'all were trying to put in something. We're not seeing a comment, but just to let you know. But it is something that, before you go out and mess yourself up behind two other people's irresponsible actions, make sure you take the time to get yourself healed so that you can go forward in life and not be afraid to love again, afraid to trust again, because that's not fair to you.
Absolutely. I love that. That was beautiful. And you say that, but it happens all the time, I love. A lot of individuals, they get hurt or they go through these situationships and friendships, and they allow that faulty relationship to determine how they move forward with people.
Yeah.
And it's really disheartening because you can't allow, that's power. And that's what I mean when I say giving someone power to alter who you are, your day, or your future. When you allow people that much power to put you in a mindset where, oh, I can't be friends with this person, or I can't do this with this person because the last time, well, guess what? This new person is not that person. And if you have these feelings about that individual and you don't know their good quality and character, maybe you need to, debate if that's really who you want to get into a friendship with anyway. But more or less, I love the fact that you brought up trust as well, because trust is something that's earned. A lot of people don't realize that, hey, I don't have to trust you. I'm not a very trusting individual, and I say that proudly because it's an honor for someone to trust you and know your character. Hey, I know A Love. I know she is going to do this, but she's not going to do that, and I can say that wholeheartedly. There are things that I know 100% that's just not in your character. So you have to realize who you are connected to, whether it's the friendship or the dateship. You have to know who you have been involved with. But also, you made a good point too about people. Remember, people are seasonal sometimes. Everybody is not here for forever. And God moves people out of your life for a reason. So I'm not saying that this is the person that he moved out of your life for a reason, but guess what? It could be. So when he moves people out of your life, it could be for you or it could be for them. He could be saving you for something. And even if you guys reconnect later on, maybe there's going to be something that happens in the interim that he didn't want you to be a part of. So you have to think about it from that aspect as well. But again, understand the situation 100% through and through. And when I say that, I'm really just like A Love, I'm talking about you. Understand your emotions and how that's going to affect you moving forward. Don't base your entire life or friendships with other people over this one situation, because people make mistakes, but at the same time, you have to invest in you. So A Love's advice was spot on. I love that you touched on that, because a lot of people, with trust it's hard. People like, oh, well, you should trust me. You know me. Do I?
Honestly speaking, S. Marie, the truth be told, a lot of people, say, trust me or whatever, but for some of us, it's hard for you to trust yourself. You say that you're going to do something and you don't follow through with you. So how are you going to be able to tell somebody else, oh, you can trust me? It is something that is, you just have to put it out there and understand that, things will still happen, even with somebody that you love, even with somebody that you're committed to and you're in covenant with. Things still happen. People are human, they're infallible, and they may have the best intentions and still do stupid stuff. So we've got to realize that at some point you have to understand who you're dealing with. We hold people up to really high standards, and a lot of times people can't stay on that high pedestal that we put them on. I mean, that goes for ministers, pastors. A lot of people put pastors on really high standards, and they go around and mismanage money, or sleep with somebody, or say something crazy. Now you looking like, but they're not God. They may be here in a position to represent and talk about God, but they're still not God. So at the end of the day, yes, you're going to have hurts from different people. It's how you manage those hurts.
Absolutely.
That really define who you are and how you're going to move forward with your life. And bottom line, you owe you first and foremost, not either one of them.
Absolutely. You did that. All right, so we're gonna move on to number two. We
Okay.
spent a good amount of time on that, and this is it for tonight. So we only got two.
Okay.
So this now this one is tickling me, and I cannot wait to hear your response. Because again, I think it's a how you were raised kind of thing, but also an age kind of thing.
Okay.
So you'll know why I say that when I said it. When I skimmed over it, I was like, ooh. So it says, dating this girl, and she feels like I should pay for everything. Do women not believe in catering to men anymore? Is it all about the woman? Do you all pay for things for your dates and or spouses? Just curious. Now, I thought that was funny because I know people who feel like, I don't need to pay for anything.
Mm-hmm.
That it's all on the male to pay for stuff.
Right.
And I cannot say that I agree with that,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't say that I disagree. So my response to you is a few things, sir. One is your you have to set expectations and you have to set boundaries. So what I mean by this is if you want a woman to go 50-50 or 80-20, 90-10, whatever it is, that's for you and that individual to set those boundaries. So again, here we are with these boundaries. They exist. You have to let them live because you need clarity. But communicate about that. If you have a problem with saying, hey, I always got to come out of pocket, on our dates and on our situations, let that individual know how you feel. There are some women who are accustomed to being catered to. But there are some who are willing to, hey, let me treat you, let me do this, let me do that. So it is truly up to you and that person. And again, it goes with their values, how they were raised. Some people, like I said, that's their dynamic. That's how they were raised. That's what they believe in. But I want to clarify something. He says, do girls not believe in catering to men anymore? Catering to people in my mind is not gender specific. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm talking personally as well. I don't mind taking my mate out. I don't mind saying, hey, tonight's on me. And obviously, he doesn't mind that either. So you have to determine if that's the type of relationship y'all have. Is it going to be that you're going to be the giver and she's going to be the receiver all the time? Obviously, that's not the way you want it. So communication must be had. But never assume that it's gender specific and that women just don't cater to men. Absolutely not. I love to cater to people that I love, and it's not just my spouse or my mate. I cater to people in my family, my friends. If there's something that I can do to make you smile, then I'm definitely going to do that. At work, it's the same thing. If I see that you need something, I recognize it. One gentleman, he needed some gloves. He was working in a cold area for us. So guess what? Pick out some gloves and let me know. Send them to me. I'll purchase them. So it's not that I'm dating that person. It's that's my coworker, and you know, he's of a certain age where I'm like, hey, you don't need to freeze to death for me. So, you know, chivalry and being polite and being caring is not gender specific. I know that's the case that you're talking about, but I say that just to say that it doesn't matter if it's a male or female. You still should be giving and considerate of that other person. So don't allow it to be, oh, because I'm in a relationship, everyone should be giving and considerate and caring about the other individual. But there are times where some people feel like, hey, yeah, you should pay for this. But again, if you have a problem with that, then have that conversation, set a boundary. And if that person does not adhere to it or doesn't like it, then maybe you need to move forward and find someone who believes in what you believe in and shares that same value. It doesn't have to be a disrespectful disconnect. It could be, hey, we're on two different pages, or hey, our views are different. And you know, you have to lead with that, but have that conversation, because maybe that individual doesn't know. It's really, you know, you and what you're accustomed to or how you want your future to be. But just don't assume that, you know, all people are the same, because we're not. We're all different. I may do something that A Love may not want to do, but there are definitely some things that I'm like, A Love, like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. Again, it's just different vibes for different people.
I agree. Well said. Well said. Before I give my response, I want to go to Chantel's comment from previously. She said, I learned a long time ago a person's actions set the tone of any relationship. If someone has to say, don't you trust me, that automatically is revealing this may be a weak area for he or she. So I wanted to put that out there because that kind of sort of flows in this as well.
Yeah.
One thing you have to think about when you say, do women not cater to men anymore? Your definition of catering, what is that? Because it's different for everybody. See, right now you're talking about financially, because you're equating catering to paying for things. Like, am I the only one that's going to be paying? Is she never going to pay? Whereas somebody else may say that catering to me is, you know, running me some bath water, you know, fixing me a dinner, massaging my back. It's different levels and areas of what catering looks like. And so for you, you've got to decide what that means to you. Does it only mean that I have to pay for something or buy you gifts or do things financially, you know, based, if that's what catering is to you? But what if this person may say that, you know, I was raised up where, you know, my dad paid for everything, but my mom cooked, she took care of the household, she took care of the kids, you know, she always made sure we had, you know, great holidays, you know, they did this, or maybe her money goes towards, you know, vacations and the extra nice things. And my dad pays the bills, you know, but that all goes down into conversation. So until you can sit down and really talk to somebody, you will never know. If you make a prejudgment on the fact that, oh, so, you know, you don't never want to pay for nothing, you know, every time we go out, you got me spending my money, and, you know, and you never take the time to ask, you may miss out on somebody who wouldn't have a problem. It's just because that's who they are and how they were brought up. And I see that, yeah, Chantel said, knowing the individual love language is imperative early on. You need to have that conversation. I'm glad you said that, Chantel, because what tends to happen is that people treat other people from your love language, not theirs. And so if you feel like words of affirmation, and so you say, oh, you look good, and oh, I love you, and all these things, and that person like, okay, cool, but child, I need you to put some money in on this, ma'am, sir. Those are two different things. Somebody else's thing may be act of service. You need to know what that looks like. It may not be what's for you. You know what I'm saying? For me, I don't need people to give me a long, drawn out explanation of things. I really just want to know what's the bottom line, because I'm a person that, boom, let's go ahead and make it happen. I'm solution driven. So all the details and things, really, I don't care. I just need to know, what are we working with? What do we need to do so we can make it happen? But I can't deal with other people that same way, because some of them may say, you know what, I really need the details. I need you to give me from A to Z so that I can make an informed decision. I can't lose patience because their way is not my way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to take time. Chantel said facts. You have got to take the time to know who you're dealing with, but at the same time, have a conversation. Good evening, Miss Bertha. Have the conversation, or better yet, know who you are, know what you're looking for, so that way you already know. If I come with somebody and they want me to spend all my money and I don't get anything in return that makes me feel like I'm doing I'm receiving what I'm getting, I'm not getting a return on my investment, then that's not the person for you. But again, don't miss out because you don't want to have the conversation. You want to just judge that, okay, I paid for about 5 meals in. Old girl ain't offered to do nothing. She ain't even asked for the tip. She ain't even trying to see if she can give me some money on the gas. She ain't brought me nothing, then that means that you need to have a conversation, because sometimes some people have not been around these type of environments, and so they're just like grateful, and maybe they feel like, I deserve for somebody to splurge and spend money on me. I deserve to be treated like this, and because you take care of me, I'm gonna take care of you. It may not be financially, but it's in other ways. I may connect you with somebody that will save you a whole bunch of money because I've connected you with this person. So in my head, I'm giving you my weight in gold, because you may be buying me dinners, but I'm giving you a connection that saves you some money in the long run. You got to make sure apples and oranges can't compare, baby. They may be both fruit, but they're two different types of fruit. So you got to make sure you know what you're working with before you cut loose some ties.
I'm sorry. Listen, you had me when you said 5 days. Did you put a limit on it? So you
But
don't get so
hey,
you don't get past 5 days.
what do you say? 3-day limit. I'm gonna give you 3 days, and then after that, if you ain't paid for nothing, if I ain't with whatever it is, whatever your return looks like, if set a boundary, establish something up front to say, okay, so now we need to have a conversation. What's that test say? Effective communication is valuable. It eliminates confusion or a misunderstanding. It
Absolutely.
does, really. Because you
Absolutely.
know what? Some people may feel like, you know what? Taking me out to a nice dinner, and I'm gonna go back. Essence Atkins. I don't know if y'all know her, but she's an
Ooh,
actress.
yes. Great actor.
So amazing.
Excuse me.
And so she was on a platform like this where she was talking to two guys, and they were talking to her about relationships. And so one of the guys was asking her about somebody, I guess she had recently reconnected with. And so this guy said, hey, I'm taking you out, spending money on you, blase this, that, and the third. And she was just like, that's cute, it's nice, I love the meal, but that
It doesn't mean anything to her
it
because she can do that herself.
exactly. She said, because
Yeah.
not one time have you taken the time to get to know who I am. You want me to be impressed because you paid for a meal or you took me to a nice place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's not nice, but it's not enough to make me want to let you go any further or
Right.
take this to another level. It was just thank you for the dinner, because I could have done the same thing myself. It's like Beyonce said in her line, what she said, buying me a drink, not appeasing. Sending me a drink at the bar or sending me a drink for me and my girls or whatever, we're out, that's nice, but that doesn't mean I owe you anything. That doesn't
Absolutely.
mean that you've done anything out of your way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would have rather you not brought me a drink, but you sat down and took the time to have a conversation, to know who I am, to do some different things, to show me something, or to open my mind down, and we have a really good conversation. Maybe we talk about Trump and Kamala and where we are in the world. Maybe we're really talking about business. Maybe we're doing some things, and you're stimulating my mind, and I'm just like, baby, we can stay at the house all day long, baby, and order some pizza, and I'm sold because the conversation keeps me mentally stimulated. You don't have to spend money like that. But because you feel like you spent a lot of money, you feel like you've done something for me. In actuality, I'm not impressed.
Nothing. And I love that you said that because that is where we fall short in relationships. One, we're so quick to claim somebody just because you spent a little money,
Right.
but that you're truly it doesn't mean anything to people. Here's the thing. Your money, there are certain women, and I just so happen to be one of them. Your money doesn't mean anything to me because my father raised me like this. He said, never ask for something that you can't afford yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can't afford to feed myself, then I need to stay at home, whether it's oodles and noodles or I don't hot pocket. I don't even eat hot pockets. I don't know, but whatever it is, if I can't afford it, then I don't need it. So for me to ask you for something that I can afford, it doesn't move me. I love the fact that you said that because a lot of people relate money to people's love language, and some people are
Mm-hmm.
that way, and that's fine. If you meet someone and their love language is money, that's great. But don't get so caught up in this situation where you just, you shouldn't be popping money like that. They say like you pop bottles, don't pop money if you're if you're going to count that money. Because see what you can't do with a real woman or a real man is count the dollars that you spent. That's a big turnoff. So
Exactly.
you have to understand what you're getting into and stop claiming people who really weren't meant to claim. Those are those seasonal people that are there for the minute, or they're there because you popped that bottle or you spent on that meal. There are some women, as you said, you have to mentally attract me. Physical is great, but what we don't understand is that there are people who, all of us, we age, right? But
Mm-hmm.
some people want to be mentally connected to you or spiritually connected to you because guess what? When we get older, what happens? Our bodies change. You get wider, you get more narrow, whatever it is, your body is not going to be the same as it was when you first met me. So don't assume your money is going to be, the all in all, because guess what? You got to retire at some point. Something's going to happen. What happens if you lose your job? People lose jobs or situations change all the time. So don't lead a relationship with money. That should never be your reason to be with someone. Because if that money runs out, or there's no attraction on a mental or spiritual level, guess what are you doing? You've just wasted a lot of time that you can't get back. I'm not willing to waste more than 2-3 minutes, and really that's a lot, if I'm not getting anything out of it. I don't want to have a conversation with you about that. Now, I'm not a politics person, but guess what? I can hold my own in that type of conversation. I can hold my own in any conversation. Look for people who intrigue you in different ways, not just someone who wants to spend your money or who you want. Don't do that, because people change, your mentality changes, and eventually, even for that person, it's going to get old because all they're doing is spending money. Guess what? They might upgrade you. Look, you quoted Beyonce, right? Let me upgrade you. Guess what? They will upgrade you. The moment you are no longer appealing, or it's not cute, or if you get out of shape, guess what? They're going to upgrade you and move on to the next person. And what do you have left? Nothing but
Zero.
and wasted time and opportunity. You just missed out on a blessing for yourself. So don't date someone, in my opinion, who just wants your money. But at the same time, I fault you too. Don't just put your money out there. Let that
That's
person.
that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah,
Stop,
don't put it out
stop
there.
being that person who feels like, oh, I'm gonna spend all this money on you and I'm gonna blow your mind, because everybody's mind is not blown by money. Not,
Absolutely.
you
Listen,
know what?
you
Everybody's not
speak
looking for
that
the newest Jordans. Everybody's not looking
yes,
for, certain types of things that cost a lot of money.
it's
That's not enticing to everybody. Somebody else may say, you know what? Before you buy me this Louis Vuitton bag, baby, pay a bill.
that
Somebody else may say, well, you know what? I don't
right.
need to do anything because I don't want you coming in here thinking that you own me or that you're running me because you're paying for bills in my household. No, I can do that. I
And
or somebody else may say, you really don't know. I'm sitting on top of so much. I got so many great investments. You don't know what I have. Just because I let you pay for something, I might just be testing you to see how you're gonna act. You
right,
don't know, but because you nut up because they ain't paid for a couple of meals, and now you just, is that what y'all do? No, y'all don't. You
right,
miss out. Maybe she's sitting back because I'm so used to all of y'all thinking that you're doing me a favor. You're not doing me a favor.
right.
I'm trying to see what kind of man you are. Is this something that you're going to, because what they say, don't start it if you can't maintain it.
That oof, speak now. I feel like I need to snap for you. Wait a minute. But that is true. That is maintaining a relationship. So if you lead with your wallet, you better be prepared to lead for a long time. Lead with your mind and your heart. Allow a person to see that there's more to offer to you than your money. Because you all look, it might be 5 days they love and you already tired. Can you do the next 20, 30 years like that? If you
Thank you.
please don't get into it. But at the end of the day, you have to find whatever arrangement that works for you both. And again, if you don't have that conversation with her, you're going to spend the next however many dates paying for a lot of stuff. But I will tell you, sometimes we have to realize that when you have these expectations, and I'm talking to the ladies now, when you have these expectations of a man to pay and do and just be that person that all in all, guess what? He looking for something too.
That he is.
So
That
you
he
so
is. And
it's
Chantel made a great point. She said that real relationships, money is a tool. Real
mhm,
relationships aren't based off of dollars.
at
And
all.
that's the reality of things, because bottom line,
Mhm,
you want to be with someone who will be there for you, whether it's because
yeah,
the marriage vows, if it leads to marriage, it says for better or for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. That means that it's going to be good times, but it's also going to be bad times. And
right,
so if your money is all that I can depend on, if I get an illness that can't be money purchased, can't get cured because you got money, then what does that really do for me? You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Money can't buy you health if you get a disease that is incurable. So
ab-
you got to be able to have something more than that. You got to be able to have something that's deeper and last longer than that. And so going into relationships, if you all you want to do is have a good time, then you shouldn't mind spending money and popping bottles and doing all that, because that's the mentality you went into it with. But if you're looking to see, oh, well, are they going to cater to me? Am I going to get something out of it? What's this, that, and the other?
can't do
check,
that.
check what you're looking for. Check
Right,
what you are wanting, and then line yourself up with somebody who wants the same type of thing.
right. And evaluate how you're attracting these people. Evaluate yourself. Evaluate why you're attracting these type of women who just want you to spend money. Again, are you over there popping bottles and do you want that attention? Is it your attire? Now, again, if you dress nice, that's fine. But what kind of conversations are you having with these individuals that allow them to think that you just so frequently and freely spend money? Evaluate that. Because you
Because
can
people talk, let's say that.
that
Women
part
will
too.
say,
Oh, he rich
girl,
girl.
I heard
Hey
about him.
girl.
He
Absolutely.
maybe he would take you to the nicest place. He would do this and the third. So
Yes.
people set up the expectation. But the
Ab-
thing about it is, if that's all that you have to offer,
They missing out on a whole lot because money only goes so far. And
yes.
listen, in times of recession, you may not always have that money. So you might want to save that money. Learn to cook for her or something. Do
Yes, tone that thing down, or
just bring it in.
bring it in. Or you know what? Instead of going out to eat all the time, hire a private chef. You doing all that. Hire a private chef to come to the house where they're
Absolutely.
bringing it in, they're cooking dinner, and you can sit down and y'all can really have a good conversation, and you really get to know the person so that you can
Mhm.
decide if this is somebody you want to continue spending time with. Chantel says, yes, my soul cannot be bought. I totally agree. A man's mind and heart is a key element to a long-lasting, meaningful relationship.
Absolutely. That's the foundation, right?
Yes. Yes.
Communication, the heart, the mindset, that's building that foundation. And when you have something that you're building and you base it off of expectations, boundaries, and understanding and communication, guess what? You building a house. You building something that does last forever. And it's not circumstances. It's not a circumstantial situation because I don't want my gifts or my love to be circumstantial. I want it to be real and true. So
Yeah.
I can't worry about, what you got in your pocket because guess what? Best believe I was raised, I gotta have mine too. And I'm always good financially, but guess what? I stay good because I don't lead with my wallet. I lead with my mind and my heart. I lead by being good to people and being of service so I continue to be blessed. but don't miss out on your blessings with a good woman who's worth spending your money on because you want to play around with these individuals that look good and talk a good game, or have these expectations that it's all about you. There are some men.
Instead of more draining you.
Right. I mean, and again, there are some relationships where men, and I don't want to deter anybody, there are relationships where men feel like, hey, my wife doesn't pay bills. I love that. I love it. It's beautiful. But guess what? Everybody doesn't have that type of situation in life. They cannot do that. And for those that do, you want to give something to that man. You want to reward that man or that woman, because the woman can be the one, financially stable, and that's fine. But you want to be able to give something back to that individual, right? If they have the money, why should they keep you around? Give them a reason. Give me a reason why you need to stay in my life. And it can't be because I got money. I want to make you feel good. I want to look good next to you. I want to be able to talk to you about anything. I want to confide in you. When I'm sick and I can't do, I want you to be there for me, not necessarily because I need you, but more so because I want you. I want to cuddle. I want to be important. I want to be a priority. When you don't have
that asset, not a liability.
Speak that. Come on now. Nobody wants to be a liability. Never leave with your wallet. I just never leave with that. And again, bottom line is, because we short on time, have conversations. Both of these topics, when I look at them, they're great and we thank you for them, but learn to build boundaries with people, set expectations. When you're going in, when you get to the third date with someone, they need to know if it's made it past that third date, that means you have a solid connection. Okay, great. It's a connection. That does not mean that you were in a relationship. You're trying to get to a relationship. So you want to set these boundaries. You want to have this understanding and have these hard conversations so you don't waste any more time. Some people don't even give it 3 days. You put your own limit on it. But I at least feel like by that third date, you should have talked about, hey, do you want kids? Like, where do you plan on living? Do you want to be this entrepreneur? Do you need me to take care of you? You want to have all these conversations. So there is nothing left to the imagination. And of course, you'll build this over time if it lasts that long. But if you don't get out the simple stuff first, you will waste valuable time. And that is not something you can't get back. This is not Back to the Future. We can't go back in time and change things that happen. You have to live for the future, not in the past. We can't go back. And I tell you all the time, look at that windshield. It is big, it's bright, and it's beautiful, and you see what's coming. So you have to know what's coming and stop worrying about what happened yesterday. Because if you worry about the girl from yesterday who all she wanted was your $100, or she wanted you to take her to this fancy restaurant, then guess what? This queen over here to the front right of you, she might not have wanted that. She may have wanted to take you out, and you just wasted yesterday on this individual, and now you still stuck on appearance when you should be looking forward to something permanent, profitable, and reliable. You got to be like the news, dedicated, determined, and dependable. When it's relationship time, we don't have time to waste. You have the news. I'm telling you, have to be. Guess what? We depend on the news to tell us what's going on in the world, what the weather's gonna be like. You can't just go outside in shorts and it's 30 degrees, but guess what? The news is gonna tell you that.
Do not be deceived, baby. Stop looking at these celebrity relationships and thinking that's how life is supposed to be, because it's not. I'm telling you. But I also want to say that for some people, they're not looking for relationships
at all.
So be honest about that. If that's not what you want to do, if you just want to say, you know what, really and truly, I'm not looking to get married. I'm really not looking to be a parent. I just want to go out here and have a good time. I'm living my life and I'm not trying to be tied down. Do you want to go and let's just, have a good time? Give people up front where you are so they know, because if I'm looking for somebody to settle down with, don't play with me, because I don't have time to be played with.
Right.
Find you somebody who that's what they're looking for too, so that y'all can be equally yoked, so y'all can go out and have a good time. If y'all want to talk to Tom, Dick, Harry, Susie, Michelle, and Tina, That's your business. That is your business. But tell people up front, because there's people out there who are great. They love doing that. They're not trying to get tied down either. Everybody wants to, think that everybody wants to settle down. They don't. Some people are out here like, baby, I want to be a professional single individual. Yeah, now they're talking about them professional students.
Entanglements all the time. No
Yes.
commitment. Entanglement.
Listen, constantly dating.
That right, but there are a lot of people who feel that way. They've been in so many relationships, or they've reached a certain point in their life, and they're like, you know what? I don't want to be in a relationship anymore.
I don't want to be bothered with you. I don't want to wash your clothes. I don't want to be trying to cook you. It's some people that don't want to be bothered with that. They just want to go have a good time, hang out, go to an event, do whatever. So, but if that's you, that's your business.
Absolutely.
But stop trying to get with people and start talking relationships when that's not what you want to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speak up or forever hold your peace.
Your mind up. Yes, honey. Let these people know. And stop taking it in fancy restaurants if you don't want to pay for it.
And you know what? Take it to a regular restaurant. See how into you she is. Because if you take it to a regular restaurant, see how that go. If the calls stop, if the texting stop, guess what? She wanted your money. If she sticks around, if you
take her behind to the park and get her a hot dog and see what she say.
I cake with you tonight.
Look, all days don't have to be food. You know what I'm saying? All days don't have. Sometimes people just want to say, you know what? Let's just meet up and sit out here. It's a beautiful day. Let's just sit somewhere and talk. Let's put me in a beautiful environment. Let's just see, if you can carry a conversation. Because if you ain't talking about nothing, I don't want to go out to eat with you anyway. Because we just sitting there and I'm about to get my phone out and start looking at it. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Y'all know I'm just messing around. Listen,
I have nothing to say after that. You look, see.
Hey, I'm playing, but I'm serious at the same time. Listen, I'm playing, but I'm serious at the same time. Y'all better pay attention. Pay attention and start doing you and stop trying to do what you think everybody wants you to do.
Absolutely. Stop bringing everybody into your situation. That goes for the girl's friend who slept. Never allow somebody to get that close. That's a little too close to comfort. And if you feel like you can't trust people, you definitely need to reevaluate your circle. Just saying that's more so about your circumstances and what you allow. Because that's tough. And I wish the best for you.
Baby, that right there is tough, because if a little juice can get you to the point where you just drop your drawers and y'all is gonna go in like that.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And don't get too intoxicated to where you do things that you will regret. My dad told me never do something that you can't be proud to tell me or your children about. And guess what? I hold that. If I would worry about my dad seeing that, or my mom or my son, like if they're not going to be proud of me or they're going to be ashamed of me, I might not want to do it. So I put limitations on a lot of things. Now, I'm not saying I don't live my life, because I do what I want. But at the end of the day, I make sure that I move accordingly. I move respectfully so I can remember what I did last night. I don't want to wake up not remembering what I did last night. That's how people end up with things that they can't get rid of.
Girl, what you talking about? Chantel said, she said, yes, I love a park day out in the open. If he acts up, he can cool off. I can get in my car and go. What you say, Chantel? Listen, don't have me end up somewhere and then I can't escape. Let's go somewhere where we can, let me see how you really gonna be. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to pretend in a fancy restaurant. It's a lot more different to pretend when you're out in the open in nature. And you know what I'm saying? We got to have a conversation, because, you get to stuttering and talking all crazy. I already know. Look, girl, delete.
Lady, I can't with you tonight.
We got to get out of here. Listen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all for submitting the exchange. We said confessions, but the exchanges. Thank you for submitting your scenarios so that we can talk about it, because I'm telling y'all, it's people who get blessed by hearing these things, because they get a chance to think about, what if that were me? How would I react? And Chantel, thanks so much for all of the commentary. We appreciate you sharing your opinions too, because that matters. So listen, make sure go to bit.ly/exchange confessions. Submit yours so we can talk about it next week or the week after or whatever. She said a great conversation tonight. Yes, those were two amazing scenarios. I'm telling y'all, but it gives you some food for thought. So give us something else for next week so we can talk about it. S. Marie, all hearts, as they say, all hearts and minds clear.
I am clear, darling.
All right, listen, we're gonna get out of here. Y'all come back, see us again next week, next Tuesday, for the relationship exchange SMD. We'll see you there.
All right.